Welcome to What the Flick, everybody. The only, am I looking at the right camera? I'd love when we start.
You're right there. That's you.
Right there? This one right here?
That's you. That's the 3-shot.
That's the 3-shot?
That's me, and that's Matt.
Okay.
We're very high tech.
Yeah. All right. See, I like to get things wrong within the first 10 seconds of the program.
Right. Those expectations that way for our viewers.
So I was going to go with the old time, welcome to What the Flick, the only movie review show with cursing, but I'm going to go back to welcome to What the Flick, the only movie review show where the hosts don't know what camera to look into. 3 movies this week, 3 big stars, Gwyneth Paltrow, Jim Carrey, Nicolas Cage.
What got into Kelly?
She's putting on a big show.
First time I heard you sing, I thought that must be what angels sound like.
I love that story.
My name is Philip Morris.
You don't look like you belong here, Philip. Insurance fraud.
No.
No, me. Insurance fraud.
Oh. I'm gonna take care of everything. That is the most romantic thing that anyone ever did for me.
I am Damon of Blybrook.
Your name has become legend. You must deliver the witch to Severac, where you will destroy the witch's powers.
We begin with the Gwyneth Paltrow country music singing vehicle, Country Strong.
That's what it is, pretty much. It's a chance for Gwyneth to sing country songs.
Yeah.
And she sings her own songs.
She does.
And so does Garrett Hedlund, and so does Leighton Meester. They sing all their own songs. Gwyneth Paltrow plays this boozy, messed up country superstar, 6-time Grammy winner, but she's screwed up, as so many tormented artists tend to be. And she's in rehab when we first see her. Her husband, played by Tim McGraw, yanks her out of rehab a month early to go on the road. She's not ready. She's having an affair with the guy from rehab, who's also a wannabe honky-tonk hipster, and various shenanigans ensue.
Nashville's Kelly Cantor left rehab early this morning. You'll remember the country music star was arrested a few months ago for drunk and disorderly conduct.
We can't wait to get on the road again. We can't wait for the tour to start. Kelly's feeling better than ever. She looks great, doesn't she, guys?
Thank you so much.
Silver wing.
I want Bo to open for me. He's a singer. He's a good one.
I've already got an opener for you. Charles Stanton.
She gonna let this prom queen get up on stage. Patsy Cline played here.
Why don't you come out on tour with us, Bo? Get out of these honky-tonks and step into the big leagues.
So
You're going to be opening for the Looney Tunes.
they need to lock that one up and throw away the key.
She's not crazy.
1 foot on the narrow way and 1 foot on the
Okay, I would like to begin speaking about this movie. I am sinking under the weight of the cliches of Country Strong.
That was a good little gimmick there. I like that. That was fun.
I thought I would sink farther. I got to be honest.
No, you're the same height as me.
Yeah. Okay. There we go. That about right, boys?
Ben, you could sink no
Okay.
lower. I assure you.
So, all right. Well, Christy, you set us up. You
right.
you begin. Matt, by the way, didn't see it.
Right. I'm a schmuck. I didn't see the movie. I can tell you 17% on the tomato meter.
Is that right? 17.
17.
All right.
Yes, this is not Coal Miner's Daughter.
No.
So, yeah, there's a ton of cliches, and I would have been okay with that if it were like over the top and kind of divalicious and kind of reveling in the cliches and how well we all know them and how fun they can be. But it doesn't really quite know what to be. Like, it's not enough of a serious drama. They're not developed enough as characters for us to really care about their torment and who ends up with whom and who ends up with a country career. And yet, yeah, it's not over the top enough either. It's like this weird kind of uncomfortable middle ground.
I'd like to quote Joe McCarthy. I have a lot of gimmicks. I have a list.
Oh God! You thought about this today, huh?
I just saw the movie.
57 card carrying.
Right, exactly. 82. So I took copious notes, guys, during Country Strong, and I just want to read a couple of the things I wrote down because it's really all that will summarize. Why would Garrett Hedlund, why would he bring up the fact that she's taking pills in front of the entire crew when she's at her big concert?
Right, but everyone knows she's been in and out of rehab, and they all know she's kind of fragile, so I'm okay with that.
But she's in rehab. She's come out of rehab.
Okay.
She's supposed to be better.
Right.
And he comes in and asks the questions, what pills did she take? Right. In front of, like, the makeup people. Like, nobody cared about anything. And then at one point, there's nothing subtle about anything that Leighton Meester comes in and says to Garrett, Dallas is going to be canceled, isn't it? She's crazy. And then he says to her, she's the only honest one here. Ugh. First of all, she isn't the only honest one here.
She's lying to herself, too.
Leighton Meester is the only honest one here.
She's lying, too, actually. Leighton Meester's lying about who she is, too.
Oh, no, barely. She's
no
lying.
one's honest.
She's lying about her parents to protect her parents. She's an honest person. That line is, it's like everything is out of a Lifetime movie. I'll read one more. I'll read one. Just bear with me. Okay, yeah, we'll hear it right. It feels like a Lifetime movie with Gwyneth Paltrow in it. And what the is Gwyneth Paltrow doing in this movie? The scenes that need to be completed aren't completed, too. Like there's a scene with Tim McGraw and Leighton Meester in the hotel, and they sort of look at each other.
Something might happen.
Something might happen, and then the scene ends. And if you want to learn anything about the characters, as you were saying, we don't learn enough to care about them, how do they extricate themselves from that scene? How does he get out of that room? Like that, in that moment, we might have actually learned something about either one of them. Instead, it's just like an episode of Law & Order, and the scene's over, and then later they're in the courtroom.
Is it a suggestion, do you think, that we're supposed to wonder, they hooked up, or he tried to seduce her and she blew him off? I mean, I have no idea. It spells everything else out in obvious ways.
Right, so no, I don't think there was any attempt. I just think that I didn't presume for a second that they had an affair. I might have if we had lingered perhaps a moment longer on them, if there'd been some music, some drama in it. This just ended, and I thought, well, I would have loved to see. I didn't think they did, so I literally wanted to see how he got out of the room, because there was a chance for some drama and there were not 100, but there were dozens of moments like that were completely unexplored.
Yeah, the whole thing kind of meanders between all these various flirtations and dalliances and drunken episodes, and there's no great momentum and no sense that any scene is more significant than any other. And that's a great example of one of them, because does this moment matter? Does anything come of this? Who knows? On to the next town where they're going to play.
He walks in, what's his name? Garrett.
Garrett Hedlund.
He
was in Tron. He has more personality here than he had in Tron, by the way.
No, I know who he is. I just can't say his name.
Set low.
So he knocks on Leighton Meester's hotel room door, and he asks her, and she asks him, "Do you write your own lyrics?" And he goes, "What is this? 20 questions?" That's one question. You just got in the room.
You're both songwriters. It's relevant.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, I'm like, "Hey, Christy, how you doing? What is this, 20 questions?" Nothing rang true throughout the entire. What was the Miley Cyrus movie where she was a country singer? Maybe that was the Miley Cyrus, Hannah Montana back and forth movie.
There's like the Hannah Montana movie that's not the concert in 3D. This is
the best of both worlds.
Yeah, that was the concert, but then there's a movie she did where she actually acted.
Oh, yeah, where she acted and she played one, and then there's a boy, whatever. That was a better country music singing movie than this.
Here's a question I had too. You mentioned all these things that are unanswered and make no sense. They make a huge deal out of the song that Gwyneth Paltrow wants to sing. It's called "Coming Home," which is like, I want that as my next song. I've got to record that song. Give me that song. And then they give it to the young ingenue played by Leighton Meester, and she's in a huge tizzy about it. And then at her big, congratulatory reunion concert in Dallas, she sings that song.
Yeah,
and they never explain it. No, they've made a huge deal.
They don't even explain why the song matters, and there were, and we're supposed to be a big fan of the guy whose name I don't know, and he's supposed to be sort of, to some degree, the conscience of the movie, the down-home, focused, good guy.
He's grounded.
Right.
He's not an alcoholic.
He's grounded. But he's an idiot, and he's wrong, and he makes mistake after mistake after mistake. And he, in fact, gives Leighton Meester horrible, terrible advice that will undermine her career and make her resent him for the rest of her life.
What, he suggests that she go off with him to the beach in California versus becoming a huge superstar like Taylor Swift.
Yeah. And suggests, and there's this horrible message that you can't have fame and love. Of course you can. You might have to work a little hard for it. Maybe you can have a little less fame. Maybe you cannot emphasize fame. But the notion that there's something wrong with her for sort of innocently envying. There's nothing wrong with Leighton Meester. She's a sweet girl at the beginning. She's a sweet girl at the end. That her envying Gwyneth Paltrow's success, and these fans adoring Gwyneth Paltrow in a beautiful way. The music makes them happy. They feel good. Gwyneth Paltrow feels good, and she thinks, this is wonderful. I love music. I'd like to feel this way. And he looks at it as, you pop singing bitch.
Right, you sell out.
You sell out. And she's like, I've recorded a bunch of songs. I could make an album. Those are pop songs. And then,
they are pop songs.
And then he sings, come on, just bear with me.
All right, one more.
I know you love this.
I do.
And then he sings a song that says, gonna lose these blues, gonna leave these blues behind for some fool to find. and he's just gone off where he's like yelling at her for writing pop songs. Come on!
Come on, Garrett Hedlund.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway.
So, all right, you're great. I read your review.
4.
4?
I think the music's pretty good. It's enjoyable without being earth-shattering. They can all really sing. Gwyneth can really sing.
Nope, she can't. I mean, she's
Gwyneth
good.
had a hit song.
She can sing
Can I tell
like
you really fast?
what? Yeah.
Gwyneth and Huey Lewis did a cover of "Cruisin'" from Duets in 2000.
Oh, I remember
and
that,
they had
right.
an adult contemporary hit with that.
People hated duets. I don't
Not
remember
good,
it.
but
I
Gwyneth
saw
had a
it,
hit
but
song out
I
of
don't
it.
remember
Anyway,
it,
I think
though.
Gwyneth can sing.
No, she can sing in the way that, like, if you're a party with Gwyneth and she sings, you're like, wow, she can really sing.
Karaoke night with Gwyneth.
But
she blows
I
it
think
away.
she got crushed by Garrett Hedlund
He can actually sing.
and Leighton Meester.
And the one guy who can sing in real life, Tim McGraw, does not sing at all.
He doesn't sing, but he could really sing. He did a really nice job.
Yeah.
I thought. Anyway.
4 for me.
This is unquestionably one of the worst movies of the year, and I realize it's January, early January. It will be at the end.
Really? Because we haven't even started talking about the really bad one.
Yeah,
yet.
it gets worse.
No. This movie doesn't compare to this. I gave it a 0.
Wow.
Ooh.
Unprecedented.
If I could give it a 0-, I would. It was horrendous considering what it attempted to be and who was in it. It's atrocious. Don't go see it. Spend time with your mother-in-law.
Don't do that.
Yeah, go to the dentist again. Like, go to the dentist even if you don't have to go to the dentist.
Get a voluntary root canal.
Right, get a there you go. Get a voluntary root canal. It was atrocious.
All right. We
the
need an average. We need an average, don't we?
Of that one?
Yeah.
It's a 2.
It's 2. I want to make sure
What a
we
mystery.
cross
Right.
all our T's and dot all our I's.
All right, I gave it a 0. She gave it a 4.
Right.
2.
Christy's big time now. We're not fucking around anymore.